Alrighty. Thank you for the love, guys. Let me talk about the map a little bit. It's the first map from Maris, if I'm not mistaken, that we are seeing in this event. So, we do have our... the top left, our Blue Terran Clem. Bottom right, our Red Protoss MaNa. But Moondance is a map with a lot of bases, but short rush distance. A pocket third offers players a safe expansion, but it has less mineral nodes than a regular base and only one gas geyser. So... That's kind of fun. We've not seen a pocket base for a long time. So yeah, it's not a full base though, right? That's the idea. Oh my god, you guys are going crazy in the chat. Hang on, I'll catch up on this in a second. Oh, the thing changed. It's giant. Oh yeah, I'm just trying to sell out, guys. Yeah, sorry. I forgot I'm not meant to sell out that much. Apologies. So yeah, I was just obviously reading off the map info. But yeah, this pocket base. You don't see this a lot anymore, like a freebie third base, but again, you make up for it by it not being a full base. One gas, you know, half mineral patches. It opens up a new round of builds and a new round of choices, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. It's been a long time since we've seen a map like this be part of a map pool. What was the last, like, pocket expand base on ladder? Maybe... was it 16-bit? I'm trying to think what the last one was. I'm trying to think what the last one was. Did my thing just re-expand again? No, we're good. Oh, yay. Alright, well, a couple of Reapers here harassing. Guys, I will catch up on all the love. I see all the love. You've almost completed a level 5 hype train, apparently, which is freaking monstrous. So, you guys are crazy. Thank you so much. I'll shout out everybody after the game, because obviously right now, we're already kind of getting interested in what's going on with the Hellion Reaper harass at the front to start out with here. Getting going. Wait, did all my subs ding already as well? Okay, I feel like I broke it. Okay, I probably broke it. Okay, no worries. Let's have a look at the map then. As always, I think Maris has got a real knack for making maps extremely pretty. And, anyone else blinded when looking at MaNa's main? It is kind of bright, I suppose. I think it's okay. It's, I guess, maybe a little bit bright. All good, though. A little bit. These guys just don't have the shades, guys. Look, see, these guys all complain about how bright it is. Meanwhile, I'm out here. I came prepared to the TLMC. I know there's going to be maps that are a little bit too bright. It's like, blinding? I don't think so. Nuh-uh. Easy to look at for me. I don't know. These guys should have brought the sunglasses. Sunglasses and flashlight should be brought at every TLMC cast, because you never know when you're going to get a map that's in the dark and a map that's in the light. As we do see a few Phoenix moving around here from MaNa, getting set up early, and just going to try and stop any further aggression of Clem that you might be able to find. So that's the current plan of action. Some maps are just too dark. Honestly, here's a pet peeve of mine. I've never had a map that's been too dark. I have never struggled to see on a map. I always believe that these anyone that struggles to see on a map, you guys just need to reassess your monitor settings. That or my monitor settings are just super bright, right? Like, that's a possibility too, but I just don't get it. Like, to me, that's just never been an issue. It has just never been an issue, so it's, yeah, I always find it kind of funny when people are like, oh my god, maps are so dark. I'm like, I literally see everything perfectly fine. Like, I have no issue at all right now. It's in low graphics? Yeah, maybe. But I mean, even low graphics, though, I don't have the issue when I had low graphics when I used to play and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really cool, guys. What can I say? You know? I'm just really cool. I mean, what it's a tough life being Wardy. Alright, we do see the Phoenix trying to poke out the front. Couple Cyclones and Vikings will come through from Clem, who's building an extra factory and mag field. Clem? Is he playing mech? Clem? Clem, what's going on, mate? What's happening? What are we doing? I don't quite get it. I mean, Clem playing mech of all people is really bonkers. Phoenix is going to come in. I mean, they're going to see the second factory. 3 factories up and running. I mean, that's just actually crazy. That's... I genuinely don't know what to say about that. That's actually really, really crazy. Alright, Clem's going to play mech against Protoss. I am so shocked. I am so shocked, guys. Really genuinely surprised we're getting this. Wow. I've astonished myself, I suppose. As you do see, next coming down on the right-hand side, Robo, and all the rest of it coming through as well. And just going to be seeing our second Stargate coming online, as MaNa is going to go very heavy on the Phoenix. So wow, MaNa's going to double down on the Phoenix play. What the hell is going on? This game is getting to be absolutely bonkers. What the hell is happening? Extra factories from Clem. Maybe he just feels like with the in-base third, it's just like you get that extra gas. You get 5 gas very easily, and he believes that maybe makes it good. That would be amazing. Can you imagine mech becomes somewhat decent on one map just because it has like the little in-base expand? I'm totally down for a little in-base third. I actually really do think an in-base third is actually kind of a neat idea that we've just not seen for so long. I'd welcome that with, just for being a breath of fresh air more than anything else. I think that would be actually really, really cool to actually have. Make it to the ladder. And we'll see, of course, which of these maps end up making it to the ladder. None are guaranteed to make it there as our Cyclones come pushing. I mean, MaNa's got 2 Immortals, a Disruptor, and then a bunch of Phoenix, and then some Zealots, which do not have charge yet. Cyclones lock onto this Nexus. Clem already pushing. I mean, Clem's pushing with mech like it's bio in terms of the timing. He will kill off a few of these Phoenix, but he doesn't do so well otherwise on the ground. So a little bit of a mixed bag of results right there to start out with. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't super crazy. It's just going to be seen our Drilling Claws on the way up, bringing that through. A couple of extra mines, and the Cyclones all still being brought into play as well. So all of that is still underway. This lone Disruptor really is just chilling in the upper right and having a bit of a crazy time. He's just living his best life, okay, guys? You guys leave him be. Disruptor really is just going to hang out up here. Infernal Pre-Igniter coming up as well, and Clem just continuing to mech it up. A lot of just, starting to move into the tanks as well now, so really starting to mix up exactly what's going on as well. It's definitely not just one, it's not just Hellions and Cyclones and a few mines mixed in. He really will advance beyond that point, so yeah, very, very cool stuff so far. Excited to see what else happens as this Disruptor shot fires just for one Hellion, just able to get a little grab there initially. Hellions do get back to the main army, and well, MaNa is just going to go straight up into carriers, which is something you really can do against mech. One of the weaknesses of mech is that you don't put enough pressure on. So when it comes to this sort of stage of the game, your opponent really can just say, oh, well, I don't really care what you're doing. I'm just going to go straight into my Stargates and build carriers, and I'm going to have a very good time. And I'm feeling like you're probably going to be very sad about that, because carriers are very good, and there's not a lot of anti-carrier stuff you can build. I mean, Thors are good against carriers, takes a long time to get into them. He's going to make, I mean, I guess with mines and Cyclones, you have a chance. You can't let him get to a mass of carriers, though, right? The more carriers, the more difficult this becomes to engage. A couple, and maybe these Cyclones can get in range, lock on, and kill them off. But, we're talking about 4 or 5 carriers? It's a very different situation as Clem runs in with the Hellion on the right-hand side. A couple of additional probes will fall, and the Phoenix will get the cleanup on that Hellion as well. So clearing that out. 5 probes going down. I mean, it's nice little bits of harassment. Clem is 82 SCVs and coming up to being maxed out here very shortly, so and that completed very soon. Just going to be seeing a couple libs coming up, +1 vehicle weapons and playing, both coming into play as well. Our Nexus will cancel on the front, and of course, there's an attempt to take base number 5. I mean, do we call it base 5 or base 4.5? Because again, that's, a third base in the main is not exactly a full base, so it's a little bit of a question mark, but in general, I think going to be pretty alright. These Zealots just going to come chasing through and going after a bunch of those Hellions, which are going to try and keep on sneaking by and get into the back of the natural here, where 7 probes will go down. So 7 probes already falling, and just going to be seeing the Cyclones just going to sit here and see if they can catch anything. Right, a couple units move too far forward. Cyclones get a lock on. If they're armored, then those units probably die. So just kind of moving in towards that for now. As you see the Phoenix actually getting a couple of liftoffs. Here is the carrier count, and Thors are on the way up from Clem. As Clem builds Thors, MaNa will want to introduce more Disruptors. The Disruptors are actually really important here. They are going to be able to hit Thors. Thors are very immobile, so when Disruptors fire at them, the Thors are generally going to be in quite a lot of trouble. That's something to keep in mind as well, how these Disruptors can interact with the Thors, and like I say, not too surprising to see those being brought into play. Pressing forward, Widowmine's going to go off on these Immortals. Tell you what, those first few units went very far forwards. Carriers arrive, and well, the question is, do we already have something to fight these carriers off or not? At the moment, it kind of seems like no. It's Widowmines continue to fire. Interceptors are going to crash on through. The Cyclone's going down. The few Vikings showing up. Clem maintaining the supply lead, mostly in workers. The Thor's fighting, and you can see the first carriers starting to drop off here, so we are starting to get that damage dealt. Starting to get into an improved position as we chase the carriers and the disruptors away out down the bottom side. Away they go through the middle of the map. Those extra zealots and carriers and disruptors are in production. Plus 2 air weapons about to finish, so that carrier army is going to become even scarier here soon. That will be another part of the problem here as we move along, as extra turrets are coming up as well. And those additional Vikings just continuing into play will be also about halfway done as +1 ship weapons, +2 vehicle plane all coming through. Widowmine going to crash in for a couple of zealots, and the tanks from afar. The Liberator going to take down that zealot as well, so a lot of cleanup over here. Comes the carrier army continuing out across to the upper side. It's moving up to the top and is going to get itself in on top of this. Once again, same position as previously. Let's see how we do. The Thors for a moment start to hit the carriers. You can see how the disruptors scare those Thors out of here. I mean, now the Vikings are doing what they need to, which is to target fire down carriers. That's how you're going to remove interceptors from this game. Not by just fighting the interceptors, typically, by continuing to fight the carriers. And you do see carrier after carrier at the moment going down. A bunch of them get pushed back and away from there, and that's a good little victory for sure. New sense tower go up. I mean, Clem is trading well. Resources lost is actually in Clem's favor, so trading well while playing mech? That's not something you usually hear, but that is something which right now is absolutely happening. Those Thor's still setting up and just going to see our carriers back around into the middle of the map as well, so away they go. Vikings and Cyclones both continuing up and online. So the game moving in is going to grab a Widowmine there, so Widowmine going to take a little shot of damage or so. Tempest's on the way out as well for MaNa, wants to start fighting from afar. Clem again is going to build into a lot of Vikings. Extra starport even on the way at the moment, so continue to bring that up. 17 Vikings on the map, 4 Thors, and also just a lot of Widowmines to support. I suppose makes it very difficult for the Interceptors to then ever really get on top of this army, which means that I mean, if the Interceptors aren't going to get on top of the army, what the hell will get on top of the army? Not really very much. Vikings come in, immediately going to find one carrier. Oh no, all those Widowmines clumped together as they burrowed. Not brilliant, and now the Viking count not high enough to one-shot, so Clem doesn't quite finish off a couple of those carriers that got the initial volley on them, so that's unfortunate. Well, he scanned again. Vikings still producing, a couple extra carriers still popping out. This army of MaNa pulling back down the bottom side. Everything joins up on the far right. We do see extra Vikings being brought into play. The tanks coming up, missile turrets added in from Clem as well. All of that coming through as he just continues to take base after base. Here on Moondance, map's turning into a pretty large one at this stage, of course. It's going to be seeing a few disruptors are pressing forward. The High Templar will join up, and just going to be seeing our tectonic destabilizers finishing soon as well, so the carriers can be, well, the Tempest can be that little bit better against the structures, picking away through bases and turrets and so on. I imagine will be something of a goal. Nice clean out, gets rid of that first Cyclone there. Always nice to just get rid of the first one and just get a nice volley off. Kind of scares Clem a lot of the time, right? Or scares the Terran player into kind of thinking, oh god, should I really be attacking in here? Am I getting ahead of myself? The disruptor shots just delete a Thor again. I mentioned that a lot earlier, and it really is coming to fruition. Seeing how those disruptors can trade. You can see the Vikings want to just come in and get some shots off, but the Stormers will, again, be just, you know, kind of just trying to convince them not to. Back and forth continues. The Vikings trying to come back into this, and Well, I'm just going to be seeing the Vikings going backwards and forwards. The Thors are chipping away at the carriers from afar. I'm going to see one of those Thors finally going down. And just going to be seeing everything continue to pick its way through the rest of this army. We do have another Storm dropping into play, and High Templar taking some damage. Thor and the Vikings coming through one more time. Trying to see what can be done, just doesn't find enough just yet. Press forward, Storms come down on the Vikings as well, and just going to be seeing all the Thors and the tanks. They do get cleaned out. Clem's army disappears, and in the end, this Skytoss army of MaNa seems to just prevail. Seems to be good enough to take the lead. Excuse me, sorry. Clear my throat. A lot of long games today as Carriers and Tempest push through. I mean, can the Vikings get into and get some kills? Again, Clem has got so many of these units low HP. He's just never had the follow-up to get rid of them. Now he's starting to shoot down a few of these carriers. I mean, he just got rid of one that was low HP there. He's still got to be careful with Stormers. And MaNa's going to make his way through that forward base. So works the way through this, and Clem trying to get to battle cruisers now, but not quite able to make this work just yet. Just going to see interceptors continue to fly on through. Turret and a sensor tower going down as well. Vikings are back and active again here at the front, trying to press on in. Just going to see SCVs just continue to drop though, and it does seem to be in just a state of, a point which is too far gone from Clem. MaNa did what he's meant to do against this mech army, which is build up into the carriers and everything. And Clem, whatever he believed was good enough to play mech here, didn't really work out for him in the end. Didn't really work out at all. Back and forth continues. The Vikings come back through. A couple carriers go down pretty much immediately, so they don't last very long. And just going to be seeing the High Templar still just setting up to zone out the Vikings. Trying to say just, no, you guys don't get to do much. We will blow up a Widow Mine out on the low ground. Extra Libs finishing SCV still on the way in, plus 3 ship weapons is about to be done as well. So again, that completed as we see our carriers and Tempests all joining up out down on the south. Really kind of just Chrono Boost across the board. Extra Zealots go up to the top side, and do just have Clem at least given a chance to, I say, rebuild, but he doesn't have a lot of money or SCVs to rebuild with, so he's been given time, but he just doesn't have the resources to make use of that time. It definitely feels as though MaNa is, MaNa's maxed out again. I don't see why he would be waiting much longer than this. He waited for his final 2 carriers to pop out and reinforcements, and he's now going to bring everything across the map, basically, to go for what should be something of a final push here. MaNa, well, so he's not even going to take the fight, Clem. He just taps out. GG's. MaNa takes game number 1 in the Liquid Showdown. Anything, we just got ourselves set up. As we go back to Cryogenian, so we're starting to see a couple of the maps for a second time. Again, if there's maps you guys have not seen yet, they're probably being played on the series that are not happening on stream, that we'll catch up on a little bit later. So, or they just haven't been able to be hosted, such as one of the maps that we have to get fixed on the upload on the servers. I'll probably have to see that one tomorrow a whole bunch. So yes, you'll start to see some maps twice now, but despite seeing some maps twice, we will obviously still overall expect to have all the maps played an even amount or as close to it as possible throughout the course of this Team Liquid map contest tournament, the 8th tier by WardiTV. It's really a tournament series that goes back a long way. I can't believe we've done 8 of these at this stage. Just goes to show how long we've been doing this for. Right, we're getting old, guys. We're getting old doing all of this all the time. Wait, what? 4-player maps? This is not a 4-player map. This is a 2-player map. It has got a 4-player layout, but it's forced cross spawns, top left versus bottom right, if I am not mistaken. So yeah, this is, I'm pretty sure this is just 2 players, and It's kind of interesting though, right? That then you have this kind of, yeah, you can see the top right's not a, is actually down on the low ground instead of on the high ground. So it's kind of the opposite of the other side. Let's just get set up. It actually was originally 4 players. I mean, like, well, got changed. Just looks like a 4-player map in the overview. Yeah. That's I mean, to be fair, I mean, I don't think the layout is bad or anything. I mean, the biggest gripes with the 4-player maps comes from the a lot of the kind of randomness of scouting and so on, right? And you know, sometimes the rotational symmetry spawns are unfair. And usually the 4-player map then, so the fairest way to play a 4-player map is to play cross-spawn only. But then why not just make a 2-player map, right? Because if it's cross-spawn only, you're basically playing a 2-player map where the top right and bottom left, or whatever the other 2 corners, are just repeats, instead of having their own kind of unique layout. So that's kind of the gripes with 4-player maps. But this is just 2-player, as we do see our Oracle is on the way up, and just going to be having the initial Reaper bunker play here from Clem, being very annoying. Clem, one of the best at doing this. He's very good at making sure that SCV gets back in the bunker, pops out, repairs, jumps back in. Yep, just will not take a shot on that for as long as possible. That really is one way in which Clem is just very, very good in these sort of situations. So doing well there initially as we get rid of a couple of additional probes. Bunker just continuing to go to work, picking up through the battery energy. Bunker is going to start burning down. SCV is actually, it's going to be the grenade from the Reaper to pop out and do a little bit of slowing down here. SCV trying to repair. Now the SCV goes down. He's really desperate to stay alive long enough to kill a probe here, but the Reaper goes down immediately. And that is nothing really kill. He gets 1 probe overall. Hellion in the main base, cleaned up by the Oracle. He gets a good scout. Obviously, Oracle activates. Its energy also hurts a little bit. As we have got the Oracle just going to hang out in the main, and the 3rd base already coming up here from MaNa. And Clem, I'd be very surprised if he played mech again, so expecting something a little bit different to that this time around from our Terran. I think just disappointing giving us about a Superhuman on the 1-year resub and BBB dude on the 22-month resub. Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for rejoining the Wardy family one way or another. And, yeah, welcome back. Yeah, man just drops that 3rd base down pretty much straight away off the back of a Stargate. That can be dangerous, but I obviously believe it's going to be alright. Now, 4 mines here, so the Phoenix will lift up 1. I think this is actually really bad for MaNa, as apparently he didn't host this with GameHawk, guys. Sorry. But that's 10 probes killed. The issue is that I think MaNa here expects like a 2 or 3 mine drop, so your Phoenix lifts 1, the Oracle probably deals with the rest. He just didn't pull the probes alongside everything else that was going on there. That's pretty bad. Sentry died as well, so this is a really good pickup from Clem. Able to do a very good job so far. Now hanging back at home and waiting for the next step of this. So yeah, good start from Clem. Puts himself into a good position with those workers killed. Puts himself into a very good position. Going to be seeing our 2 Oracles and the Phoenix joining up together. The next Phoenix coming along as well, is just pushing through, and everything going to be coming in to try and put some damage out. Going to be seeing if anything can happen. I mean, these Vikings, I mean, good numbers to fight this. I'm kind of surprised we stood there in 4. I feel like that was a misread from MaNa as to what was actually there. I mean, I feel like he thought there was 1 Viking, not 2, because that was just not a commitment I ever thought he was going to make initially. So then when he really committed to it, it was like, wait, what are you doing, sort of thing. That was a little bit surprising for sure. Phoenix and the Oracle that remain go back to the middle of the map, but that really hurts. I mean, you invest into multiple Stargate units here, and then you kind of give some up. We do see DTs being warped in, so that's going to be MaNa's next step. Some DTs on the map. I mean, he doesn't have much of an army, so he really relies on these DTs to get a lot done here, I would imagine. That's going to be a part of this. Oh, medevac of Marines from Clem. I mean, this might be nice because then he has units at home to defend Dark Templar as he builds up turrets, and he will also have some pressure across the map against a Protoss who doesn't really have a lot to play with right now. Imagine that would be something of a factor, as just going to see our gates coming through, the +1 attack, Shadow Stride. And MaNa going to rely heavily on these DTs early. He is up 1-0 in this best of 3, remember, guys. MaNa taking that 1-0 lead off the, versus mech play at first. Phoenix are going to continue to hang around the bottom, and they actually really do look as though they're going to get an intercept on this medevac. Clem is not watching. If he was watching the minimap, he could have pulled it away a lot sooner and then just boosted out of trouble. It probably would have at least gotten a chance to unload in full. Obviously, here just gets taken down, so that doesn't work well from Clem, but as he has done very well otherwise, I mean, he is looking good to just come across the map. It really is the DTs that will slow him down, if anything, but he's so far across the map before these DTs finally strike that he's not going to turn around to deal with it, and he's got turrets up, so he should just be able to send reinforcements across to deal with that, and then continue to focus on the major fight down on the bottom side. That's exactly what he will start to do. Pushing across with this, the Stasis Ward grabs a couple of those mines and a Marine. Lifting up a couple of units to take them out of here, and just going to have the Phoenix Zealot army from MaNa beginning to give chase out across that far left-hand side. That's going to be seeing our couple of assimilators still coming up, +2 attack upgrades on the way from Clem. I mean, he didn't overcommit in or anything. I still think he's in a great position. He's ahead on workers. He's got a substantial army supply lead. The harassment of MaNa was very minimal when it was pretty heavily committed into. It looks overall very good for Clem. Let's see if he can play this out into a 1-1 situation, and then obviously we have a third map to discuss. And what was interesting is because that first map that these guys wanted to play was broken, we have to get that fixed. Maps we just decided, these guys said, well, we'll just play maps 2 and 3. If it is 1-1 after maps 2 and 3, we'll then figure out what to do. So I guess what we'll do is we'll probably have like a little, we'll basically change up a map, we'll do a little reveto, just one map each again, and go from there basically. Oh, now me down to the south, but you see the DT is going to come straight through, and they're going to jump on these SCVs. So SCVs taking damage again. Apologies, there's no game hard up in this game. It's a lot of SCVs going down. Clem's going to have 33 dead SCVs in the game, and now only 41 left on the map. I mean, this really comes down to, can you defend against this attack back at home as MaNa? I mean, Clem drops a scan. He's going to start moving through. He's going to go straight on this Nexus. I mean, MaNa even had the Zealots across the map, so he's fully committed to trying to win the game with that army. The problem is, this is not the kind of army that wins a base trade as Clem against a Terran. This is not the kind of army that can just take down structures easily and stop the Terran floating around. Whereas this is a Terran army that can win that base trade, and I think that's the issue. And what you can maybe do is, if you can force the orbitals up in the sky and there's DTs still left over, then maybe you can force some weird situations. And that's probably the best chance you got. I mean, Clem only has so many bases he can protect. He did send some units home. I think he wants to protect these bases, and like I say, he needs some of these scans to make sure he's not going to be in trouble against the Dark Templar at multiple points. So just making sure of that as the Phoenix going to come chase down these couple of medevacs. Clem's going to move up into his main base, where, again, Zealots and DTs just do not want to commit into unless it's really your last hope. And MaNa just knows that this has gone too far in favor of Clem. Clem will win out on map number 2. We tie it 1-1 in the best of 3. Frost Giants. So this map, we started the day on this map, and we obviously discussed the fact that the name is pretty interesting, considering Frost Giants are making a new RTS. The next kind of... it's basically the Frost Giants are the old Starcraft and Warcraft team that are going to make their own RTS games, so that's kind of crazy and fun. And then we've got a map now called Frost Giants, as in the bottom left, Team Liquid's MaNa takes on the top right, Team Liquid's Clem. Yeah, this map has that kind of like frosty, lava mix. Ooh, that SCV. Just didn't get to see the probe coming across there, so just missed out on that little bit of information, which would have been obviously kind of cool to have gotten hold of, but not the biggest of deals here as the SCV heads back down to the bottom side for now. Putting that barracks into the south. What's up, Jack Jimson, for the 7-month resub? Welcome back. This map, again, a lot of bridges and so on, and opening up rocks to really kind of open the map up a bit. MaNa's going to straight up just gateway forge, so he's going to go straight up aggression over here. Cannon rush. 1 racks on the map from Clem is interesting, because that's at least he wasn't intending to expand, but it is a barracks that's not going to be immediately useful. It might be, I mean, maybe you can set up a bit of a counterattack. If he builds like 4 or 5 Marines and goes in with them all at once, then he can actually do very well there. That could be kind of cool. Maybe there's some possibility with that, as you just have the probe running around here, and let's see what goes down. Probe is going to be chased away. Well, there is another probe available, so the build-up of the forge and the cannons will happen shortly. I really feel like the Marines across the map. I mean, building a tech lab across the map, so we're going to build Marauders there, and we're not going to build Stim there, right? We're going to build concussive shells, if anything. Now Clem knows something is up. He builds a factory in his base immediately, so not prioritizing whatever he was going to do off that tech lab on the other side, which is now finished. He will now build a Marauder. But no upgrade, just going to build a Marauder. And like I say, Marauders will be able to counterattack in. That probe line will be in trouble to that counterattack, because MaNa is just not expecting it. He's expecting the factory to be coming through, or just any production in the main. He's not ready for a defense at home. He's not building a cannon back there. As these first few Marines putting some good damage out. No range unit out just yet, so the Marines just get to sit here, force a cancel on the battery. And that's always a nice little something. Not the battery, it was the cannon he got rid of. Gets rid of the cannon and now going for the battery. As the battery goes very low, the Zealot got a little bit of health back on itself. And now the battery just has to come into use. But obviously this is all free damage from Clem. Dealing damage, not taking any himself. He's going to pull SCVs down. He believes he can bust through this. The Stargate attempting to come up with this, and this is going to be problematic, because he's going to get rid of this pylon. And this Stargate will be unpowered for quite some time. MaNa putting everything he can into this, and I mean, a cannon and the battery about to come online. Clem needs to probably get out of here, because that cannon's going to start hitting very soon. He does want to keep his Marines alive. Here come the Marauders that we mentioned previously. MaNa is going to have a lot of income issues, because he is not going to be able to keep his probes alive. This is genuinely very problematic, huh? Like I say, the barracks proxied out on the map goes a long way, and Clem just going to micro and try and not get surrounded here. He actually does avoid the surround right there, and continues to avoid this surround as the Marauders dance and jive around the probes. It looks like Clem's going to get pretty much every single probe before he gets shot down and stopped. I mean, 8 probes remaining. We're basically on probe countdown. First Void Ray has popped, but obviously that's going to be jumping into Clem's base. And MaNa just says, I cannot do enough here. And MaNa is going to get just a little unfortunate, I think, with Clem wanting the proxy to start. It means that Clem gets a 2-1 after MaNa wins the game versus Mech to start. GG's on Frost Giant. That was a really